Good morning, students. In previous class, we started phylums, discussion about phylums. Is that right? So, in previous class, we discussed about porifera. Is that right? So, in that porifera, characteristic features, all that we discussed. Today's class, we are going to start new phylum, that is Coelenterata. New phylum, that is Coelenterata. Okay. Coelenterata. Also known as Cnidaria. Okay. Why it is having two names? Coelenterata phylum, also known as Cnidaria phylum. Actually, the Coelenterata, it is a old word. Cnidaria, newly, which is going to be given to that particular phylum. Coelenterata, coelenteron, gastrovascular cavity which is going to be present. That is the reason why they are going to be called Coelenterata. And one more characteristic feature, after that they identified, scientists or noticed that very important characteristic feature, cnidoblast, which are going to present. Earlier it is going to be present gastro coelenteron which is going to be present. Coelenteron which is going to be present. That is the reason why this phylum is going to be called Coelenterata. Next, cnidoblast which were identified. Cnidoblast which were identified. So that's what it is going to be. Name is going to be modified. Anyhow, Coelenterata, also known as Cnidaria. What are these coelenteron? What are these cnidoblast? That and all, little ahead of this topic, we are going to discuss about that very clearly. Okay. In this Coelenterata, approximately 9,000 species which are going to be present. 9,000 species which are going to be present. 9,000 species which are going to be present. So in this, if you come to that, these Coelenterata species, animals which are habitat. First we are going to start with the habitat. Habitat means where the particular organisms which are going to be living place. So most organisms are marine. Okay, most organisms which are going to be marine, but some are freshwater. Most are marine. Freshwater example, hydra. Freshwater is going to be hydra. Well known example that you know from lower classes onwards we are going to study about this hydra. Is that right? Next, most of marine and but some are freshwater. Freshwater example, hydra. And next, if you come to that, habitat. Habitat means where particular organism which are living. Habit means in which they are going to be living. Either they are single or individual or colonial, like that. A group of animals are singly, like that. How they are going to be living, that is comes under habitat. So in this, some are solitary, and some are colonial, a group. Solitary means individual, singly. Okay. Here it is. If you take example solitary, so in this solitary you can able to see the example hydra. Example hydra which is going to be single, individually which is living. Okay. Next, colonial, a group of organisms which are going to be living together in a particular place. That is example Physalia. Not only solitary and colonial, Some more organisms are sessile. Some more organisms are free floating or free swimming. Okay, so sessile means these organisms which are not moving from one place to another, which will attach to the one substratum, and there itself they are going to be living in a particular place. So that particular organisms which are going to be sessile, they are not moving anywhere. And some are organisms which are keep on free swimming and free floating in water. Okay, so that is the condition. Example, if you take same example, you can able to take Physalia. Here it is. Physalia organisms, which are a group of organisms which are living in a particular substratum. Clear? Free floating example, you can able to take Aurelia. Example, it is going to be, you are going to take it as Aurelia. Clear? So this is the habit and habitat. Habit, this is habitat. Okay, so this is about. Next, if you take some of the general characteristic features, level of organization, tissue level of organization, tissue level of organization. Next, body symmetry, body symmetry. What is the body symmetry? Radial symmetry. What is radial symmetry? When any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides into two identical halves, that symmetry is called radial symmetry. These organisms, Coelenterata organisms, which shows the radial symmetry. Okay. Next, what is that? Next one, gem layers. Diploblastic. These are diploblastic. What is diploblastic and what is triploblastic? Diploblastic gem layers are 2. Triploblastic gem layers are 3. Here it is ectoderm and endoderm. Only you are going to be seeing these Coelenterata animals. Next, if you take body form. So in this body form, so in this diploblastic nature, that's what ectoderm, endoderm, which are going to be gives rise. Ectoderm gives rise to epidermis, endoderm which gives rise to gastrodermis. Ectoderm which gives rise to epidermis, endoderm which gives rise to gastrodermis. So in this, particularly if you go through this epidermis which consists of epithelio muscular cells which are going to present, epitheliomuscular cells which are going to present on epidermis of the particular wall of the particular epidermis body form in that. Next, interstitial cells which are going to present, these are totipotent in nature. What is meant by totipotent? These interstitial cells which gives rise to any type of body cells. That particular property is called totipotent. Clear? Epidermis which consists of epitheliomuscular cells, interstitial cells and sensory cells which are going to present. Some nerve cells also which are going to present. So along with that, very important cells which are going to present, those are nidoblasts. Cnidoblast which are going to present, a very important characteristic feature of that particular epidermis, that you remember, cnidoblast which are going to present on epidermis. Where these cnidoblasts which are going to present in that particular cnidaria, epidermis of the interstitial cells of that particular cnidoblast which are going to present. This epidermis particularly which consists of these cnidoblasts. Okay, we are going to discuss in detail about cnidoblast. No need to worry about that. First, you just try to understand what is this epidermis consists of. This epidermis consists of these many cells which are going to present. Next, if you come to that gastrodermis, this gastrodermis also which consists of endothelial-muscular cells. Endothelial-muscular cells also which are going to present. Here it is sensory cells are which are going to present. Sensory cells also here also present. Cnidoblasts which are present only in epidermis. In gastrodermis here it is cnidoblasts which are absent. Cnidoblasts which are going to be absent. And next some sensory cells which are going to present. That's it. Here it is. Okay, that you remember. This is about body form. This is about very simple about body form. If I am going to take that particular structure, this body form, here it is. So this is the particularly epidermis. So on this epidermis, so these you are going to take from here it is onwards, you can able to see the endodermis. This is the gastrodermis. Okay, so this is the epidermis. So this is the gastrodermis. So in between some interstitial cells which are going to present, here it is interstitial cells which are going to present. In some of the regions, particularly cnidoblast also which are going to present, cnidoblast which are going to present, and here it is some what we can call neurons which are, this is the mesoglia. So this is the epidermis, this is the mesoglia, this is the gastrodermis. So in between mesoglia which is going to present some nerve cells which are going to present in this mesoglia. Okay, so those which are going to be responsible for that information. Okay. Sorry, cnidoblast which are going to present on epidermis. Cnidoblast which are going to present on epidermis. So this is the body form. Simply, this is the body form. Next what we are going to discuss about? Next we are going to discuss about particularly digestion systems. We are go through the systems. Digestion. In that particular Coelenterata. Digestion, it is going to be extracellular digestion and intracellular digestion also we can able to see. Extracellular digestion and intracellular digestion you are going to be seeing. So here it is, especially gastrodermis which is going to present. Just now I told, is that right? Gastrodermis, nothing but which is going to be consist of gastrovascular cavity. Gastrovascular cavity which is going to present. Here it is two functions, digestion and circulation. So whatever the Coelenterata containing that gastrovascular cavity which is going to do two functions, that is digestion as well as the circulation. So this function gastrovascular cavity, two functions, digestion as well as the circulation, two functions which can be done by this gastrovascular cavity of the coelenteron, that is the main function. Okay, so here it is, first extracellular digestion, outside inside the cavity which is going to be takes place. Inside the cavity, food material, whatever the food material entered inside the food material, some secretive enzymes which will act on the food material, break into pieces, then which enter into the cells. So thereby cells also which undergoes the making the acting some of the that food material which is going to be intracellular digestion takes place. So first in digestion, first extracellular digestion, then only after intracellular digestion takes place in the Coelenterata. First is going to be extracellular digestion, then after that intracellular digestion takes place. Next, there is no special respiratory, there is no special respiratory, circulatory, next excretory, nervous system. There is no special respiratory, circulatory and excretory and nervous system which is here. It is you are going to be see. There is no any special type of systems which you are not going to be observed in the Coelenterata phylum. Okay, and this also digestive system also, particularly if you take digestive system, this is the digestive system. So it is going to be incomplete digestive system. Incomplete digestive system. What is mean by incomplete digestive system? What is mean by incomplete digestive system? So previously general characters that time I explained. So pattern of vascular cavities in the digestion, that and all I discussed. Is that right? Incomplete digestive system, it is going to be single opening which is going to present. Single opening which is going to present, that is mouth which is going to present. That mouth which is responsible for that dual functions, that is ingestion of the food material and egestion of the waste material. Two things which are going to be done by the single opening. That is the reason why in coelentrates digestive system is going to be incomplete digestive system which we are going to be observed. Do you understand what I am going to say? Clear? So there is no any special system, respiratory, circulatory, excretory and nervous system which is going to present. And if you come to this nervous system, primitive type nervous system is going to be primitive type. Here it is, there is no brain but nerves which are nerve net which you are going to be observed, nerve net. So that's what Coelenterata is the first phylum which shows the primitive type of nervous system. Primitive type of nervous system. It is going to be, you are going to be observing Coelenterata. First phylum which shows the primitive type of nervous system which you are going to be observing Coelenterata. This is a very important characteristic feature also. Among the very important, this is also one of the important characteristic features. So Coelenterata is going to be one of the primitive type of nervous system which you are going to be observed. So there is no any brain but nerves which are forms the net-like structure, that is you are going to be observing Coelenterata. Clear? Next we are going to be observe another, particularly skeleton. Here it is body skeleton. Some of the cnidarians or coelentrates which form the skeleton, calcium carbonate skeleton which are going to be formation takes place, some of the coelentrates. Next, these are showing body forms. These are especially they are going to be shows the body forms. What are the body forms? So these are the shows the body forms. Before entering into this one, we need to see how these are going to be shown. These are going to be reproduction, sexual reproduction they are going to be performed. Sexual reproduction and also asexual reproduction also they are going to be performed. Asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction also you are going to be see, and asexual reproduction also you are going to be see. Okay, in these Coelenterata. And one more thing is that These are unisexual. Some organisms are unisexual, some organisms are bisexual. Some organisms are unisexual, some organisms are bisexual. Clear? Okay. So in this, again, direct development is there as well as the indirect development is there. Direct development is there as well as the indirect development is there. So these things are very, very important. You should not miss regarding this Coelenterata. Sexual reproduction also, which is going to be performed by the formation of gametes. Asexual reproduction, which can be done by the mainly budding. So if you are going to be observing in lower classes, you studied about Hydra. Hydra body have one sort of outgrowth which is arising from the body. That outgrowth after maturation of that particular bud, which is separated from the main Hydra. So thereby it is going to become simply another organism. So such type of asexual reproduction is called budding. Certain outgrowth from the Hydra, that is called budding. Okay. So this is asexual reproduction. Next, sexual reproduction, they are going to be forms the gametes. Sperm formation takes place, ova formation takes place, which undergoes the sexual reproduction. Okay. Next, there are some of unisexual, only particular either male or female reproductive system. Some of organisms which you are going to be see bisexual. Example, you can able to see some of the Hydra which shows the bisexual in nature. Next, these are going to be development, direct development. If you take this Hydra, outgrowth of Hydra, direct development takes place. There is no any sort of larval forms. Next, if you take indirect development, some are organisms which shows the indirect development through the larval forms. Okay, these are very important things. You just go through it. These body forms, some cnidarians are only in polyp form. So here it is polyp and medusa. So these are the body forms. Polyp and medusa, these are the body forms which we are going to be seen cnidarians exclusively. Okay. So some cnidarians are which shows the only polyp form. Polyp is going to be cylindrical in structure and sessile in nature. Polyform. Example polyform, you can able to see example particularly polyform. So in this polyform, you can able to see the example particularly only Hydra, Adamsia, Hydra and Adamsia. These are cylindrical in structure. So these polyform, it is going to be cylindrical in structure particularly. So in this, like this, particularly cylindrical in structure. So these are going to be cylindrical in structure, which are going to be. So these are the cylindrical structure and sessile, example Hydra and Adamsia. Next, some cnidarians are only medusa form. Example Aurelia. This Aurelia is going to be umbrella shaped structure. This Aurelia is going to be particularly umbrella shaped structure. Medusa is going to be umbrella shaped structure. Umbrella and free floating. Very important thing, you just remember these things. Body forms of these ciliate animals, which are polyp and medusa. This polyp is going to be in some of the cnidarians, only polyp form which is going to present. Characteristic feature of polyform is going to be cylindrical and sessile. Cylindrical in shape and which are not going to be moving any place. Example Hydra and Adamsia. Okay. Next, some of the cnidarians are only medusa form. These are Aurelia. Example umbrella and free floating. That you should remember. But some of the cnidarians which shows polyp and medusa. Some of the cnidarians are only polyp, some of the cnidarians are only medusa, but some of the cnidarians which shows the polyform and medusa form. Some of the cnidarians are some nidarians which shows the both forms polyp and medusa. So both forms at a time in a particular individual we are going to see. Example obelia. So in which polyp produce medusa by asexual method. Okay, asexual method. Next, medusa produce polyp by sexual method. This process, polyp produce medusa, medusa produce polyp. So polyp which is going to be converted into medusa form which converted into polyp form, that process is called alternation of generation. Also known as metagenesis. This is a very important characteristic feature of Coelenterata. Some nidarians which shows the only polyp form, some nidarians which shows the only medusa form, some nidarians which shows the polyp as well as the medusa. Polyp which convert into medusa which convert into polyp, that phenomena is called alternation of generation, also known as metagenesis. This example you can able to observe in obelia. This example which you are going to see in obelia. Do you understand what I am going to say? So this is the very important characteristic feature which you are going to be observing in these organisms. Clear? So now we studied about entire regarding Coelenterata. And this Coelenterata, one more characteristic feature is that is nidoblast. Now we are going to discuss about the nidoblast. Nidoblast, also known as stinging cells, also known as nematocyst. Okay, this one you just capsule, just don't read this one. Okay, stinging cells. Nidoblast, also known as, because of the presence of nidoblast, this Coelenterata, also known as nidaria. Because of the presence of nidoblast, Coelenterata, also known as nidaria. Okay. So what are these nidoblasts? So these nidoblasts which are present on epidermis, and which are particularly present on body and tentacles of hydra. Suppose if you take a example that particular hydra, so that particular hydra structure, is that right? So in that outgrowth you are going to be observed. In this outgrowth which is going to be, this is the budding outgrowth you can able to observe, and from here it is some of the tentacles, small, these 8 to 10 tentacles you are going to be observed. Okay, so these tentacles, this is the hippostome, mouth region. So many tentacles you are going to be observed, not so many, 6 to 10 tentacles you are going to be observed. Clear? So this is somewhat long. Okay, so these tentacles, this is the, here it is hippostome, mouth region, single opening which you are going to be observed. On these tentacles and body and tentacles, different types of these small tentacles which are going to be present. So this, here it is, I am going to make it. Small outgoes on body also, these tentacles which are going to be present. So each and every tentacle which is these cnidoblasts are stinging cells which are going to be observed, each and every tentacle. So these body and tentacles, body and tentacles, body and tentacles. So now we just make it all the things clear. So body and tentacles, these cnidoblasts which are going to be present, these cnidoblasts. Okay, so what is the function of these cnidoblasts? Cnidoblasts which are going to be cnidoblasts, particularly cnidoblast function. If you take function which are for the attachment, which responsible for that attachment, which responsible for that attack. Next, defense. Okay, capturing food, and locomotion. So these many functions which are going to be done by these cnidoblasts. So that is the reason why it is a very, very important characteristic feature of the cnidaria. Here, so cnidoblasts which are going to be involved in attachment, attack, defense, capturing the food material, locomotion. So these many functions which can be done by these cnidoblasts. If you take one structure of cnidoblast, you are going to see how that particular structure which is going to be present, you are going to see. Okay, if you take that particular structure of cnidoblast, okay, so this structure of cnidoblast, so this is the cnidoblast. Okay, so in which particularly this is the cnidoblast structure. Here it is nucleus, basal nucleus which is going to present, and some another lasso. What is this? Restraining thread which is going to present. We'll discuss one by one, no need to worry about that. Okay, so in this particular region, this is the cnidocyl. We'll discuss about this also, cnidocyl. Okay, so this is the nucleus, this is the, here it is, this is the capsule, also known as nematocyst, that small dot-like structures which are present on tentacles and body, the dot-like structures which you are going to call as cnidoblast. We are discussing about the cnidoblast. I made it big, so don't get confusion. Okay, and this is the entire cnidoblast. So in that capsule-like structure which is going to present, this capsule-like structure, particularly one more inside which is going to present. So in this inside, how it is going to be present, we are going to see. Okay, so this is the thread, this is the capsule. Inside the capsule, thread which is going to present, thread tube inside, which is going to present. Inside also toxin also which is going to present, that is hypnotoxin. Which is going to present, that is hypnotoxin. This is the undischarged. What is mean by undischarged? During normal condition, without any harm to that any prey, or without any capturing, or without attachment, without attack or defense, that time this cnidoblast which is like this structure which is going to be present. Whenever trying to attack, defense, trying to attachment, that time inside whatever this thread tube which is released outside. So how that time it is going to be structure which is going to present, we are going to see. So again same, I am going to make it. Okay, now this is the cnidoblast structure. Here it is again basal nucleus which is going to present. This is the lasso, restraining thread which is going to present, and inside whatever this thread tube which is going to be coming out, discharged state. So this discharged state, how it is going to be located, we are going to see. See, from here it is discharged. So this is the thread tube having small, here it is, this is the shaft or butt shaft. Here it is spines which are going to present. Here it is spines which are going to present, which will responsible for that making harm to that particular animal. Here it is nidocyl which is going to present. Nidocyl which is going to present. Here it is nidocyl. Clear? Now, whenever this is the discharged condition, this is the discharge. What is discharge? Whenever during any attack or defense, that time this undischarged thread tube which is going to be released outside, it is going to be released outside. So that time it is a discharged condition. During this discharge, once it is going to be used that particular nidoblast, once it is going to be discharging that particular thread tube, it is not going to be taken back. It is not going to be taken back. It is, once it is going to be used, after that it is going to be next another nidoblast has to be come into the epidermis region. So these whatever the used nidoblast which will enter in through the mesoglia and enter into the gastrodermis which undergoes digestion. New nidoblast which come into action to perform the another function. So once it is going to be released, once it is going to be discharged, it is not going to be taken back. It is not going to be taken back. This entire structure through the transportation enter into the gastrodermis which undergoes digestion there. New nidoblast which are going to be again formation takes place that through the interstitial cells. This new nidoblast which are going to be enter into the what we call epidermis region which are replacing. So this lasso, this particular thread which is responsible for that regulating the during normal condition, this lasso during normal condition, this lasso which is going to be regulating this thread tube, this regulating the thread tube. So whenever osmotic pressure or mechanical stimuli, whenever osmotic pressure or mechanical stimuli, this whatever the thread tube which is going to be dischargement takes place. So for that reason, osmotic pressure may be water which may enter into this nidoblast which will increase osmotic pressure, thereby discharging takes place whenever if it is attack, defense or that time. And this nidocyl, particularly this nidocyl, whenever which attach to the any while moving that particular hydra, if it is that particular nidocyl attached to any prey, so that time mechanical stimulation, this mechanical stimulation also which is releasing the thread tube outside, and meanwhile whatever the hypnotoxin and as well as the spines and along with that thread tube, it is going to be act as a piercing needle, so thereby either it is going to be make it paralysis or killing the particular opposite organism. Like that, these nidoblasts which are going to be functional, these nidoblasts which are going to be working in condition. Do you understand what I am going to say? So little bit, just go through it. Once these particular nidoblasts which are going to be discharged, which are not going to be taken back, that is utilized, used one. New nidoblasts which are replaced, new nidoblasts which are come into action. These nidoblasts which are particularly present on body and tentacles, both the region, these nidoblasts which are going to be present, both the nidoblasts which are going to be present. Next, if you come to that hydra, this hydra is going to be particular organ which is going to be by the sexual as well as particularly asexual reproduction which is going to be takes place, sexual reproduction takes place. Is that right? Most are going to be unisexual, that I already told you. And hydra, whenever if it is requirement food material, that time they are going to be eat Daphnia and Cyclops. So that is general thing, just I am going to say. Okay, so this is simply about nidoblast. So with this Coelenterata, it is next, what is the names of that particular larval forms? Direct development I told just now. So direct development is there. Is that next? Indirect development you are going to be observed. Indirect development. Okay. So direct development, there is hydra outgoes, direct development takes place by the asexual. Next, sexual reproduction also which is going to be takes place. And next, indirect development, you can able to see larval forms. So these larval forms are planula and ephyra. Planula and these ephyra larval forms. Planula larva as well as the ephyra larva. These are the larval forms. Just to go through. This is the larval forms of the Coelenterata. Next, so this is about simply this one. Okay. In next class, we are going to discuss about the classes of the Coelenterata. Classes of the Coelenterata. So this one, whatever the completed one, please you just go through. If you have any doubts during interaction session, we are going to discuss. Okay. Thank you.